Hi, class. I'm Barbara Culbertson. I'm going to be your teacher for your online class in counseling psychology, and we're going to be working on developmental psychology through the lifespan. I'm here in my kitchen. I just stopped for a minute to try to get this done, and I'm going to be making some Indian fry bread. So if any of you don't know how to make Indian fry bread, you can let me know. Maybe we can use that as part of developmental psych because it does have a lot to do with a person's mental health. If you have Indian fry bread with honey, that can really help a lot. So you can let me know. Anyway, glad to have you in class. Want to welcome you. I wanted to go over with you before class starts a few things. This is going to be slightly different this time around. Not a whole lot, of course, because you're used to being sequestered in your homes now for a while. And of course, it's an online class, so we don't meet in person anyway. But I can see that there could be a few little glitches this time, a little differently than have been in the last courses. I will look over every week and make sure that there's nothing there that's going to cause a glitch for you, but I want to give you some heads up on a few things today. First of all, would be that I want to tell you that I want learning to be fun, and I have to give grades. You will earn your grade. I don't just give them, but I hate grades, and you'll find that out more as we go along. But I will do my best. Every assignment does have a rubric that you can look at, but a lot of it is subjective. But I would be glad to talk to you also if you have any questions about assignments. The first week, you are going to have an assignment at the end of the week to be turned in that has to do with an interview. In fact, every week you will either have an observation or an interview to do. That's where I can see possibility of a little glitch as different from it has been in the past without the COVID stay at home. This week, this first week, you are supposed to be interviewing a person in a crisis pregnancy center. I want you to find out in your towns, wherever you live, what is there available for women who feel like they are in a crisis, having found out that they were pregnant or wonder if they're pregnant. Um, if it is totally impossible to do a person to person interview, you may do this on telephone. I usually do not allow that, and I would rather that you didn't. I would assume that these crisis centers will be open at this time. Hopefully, they'll be wearing masks and doing all kinds of things that are healthy. But if you can do it wearing a mask and interview in person so you see the facility, that's really what we are looking at. I gave you some ideas of questions to be asking and then report on. That is not, you are not limited to that. In fact, a lot of your grade depends on, have you done not only the basic, I mean, that would be just an average grade, a C grade, or have you gone above and beyond and given me some ideas about what you found was fun, whatever. You can ask me more questions as we go on about these interviews, but the first one, I do want to give you a heads up on that. That actually is not due at the end of the week, but will not be due until Monday of the following week. If you need that extra weekend time, I will go along with that. The next thing is to let me know if there are other things that come up of emergencies in your lives that you just can't get something turned in. Please let me know. I can't guarantee that I'm going to adjust your grade for it, but I will listen to it. It will be something to take into consideration, of course. Okay, the next thing is daily posts. Daily posts have to do with the class. We do have on the website, there is a place to post your personal items, and we do want them. And I have access to that as well. Prayer requests, what's going on. However, on the daily posts that you do for class and get credit for, then please keep those having to do with class material. That can include your own opinion, but it needs to be rather small and mainly just respond to what is going on in class discussion and what you've read, what you're learning, and then your response to that. Of course, they're very small responses you have to do, but I have a lot of times students want to just tell me their opinion about something. That doesn't cut it. The daily response needs to be to other students about what you are learning. All right, the next thing that I do want to talk about is grammar. I am a real stickler for grammar. You all have had English classes all the way through your education. You are supposed to be using that now. This is not an English class, not a grammar class. It's a place to use what you have gotten. You also have an APA, not APA, you have the grammar, my mind just went blank, but the workshop, MLA guidelines. That's also online. I expect it to be used. Just the normal kind of things that I expect, good grammar, sentences, and so forth. So you just need to have a heads up on that. One more thing I do want to tell you about would be the idea that how do you get this done in such a short period of time? We have 6 weeks and we have to do a whole semester of college work. Now, the book that we're using is a textbook for a 1 semester college course. So it is divided into the sections that, or it is a length that is for a college course of 1 semester. Even though we only have 6 weeks, it is a lot of learning, a lot of reading. We do have to include the whole book. I have gone over and over and over trying to figure out how to cut some stuff out. And I have cut some out, but I'm really down to bare essentials. So let me give you just a little bit of a clue. A textbook is not a novel where you're reading every word and the excitement. I don't expect you to read every single word of the textbook. I expect you to peruse it. As you look down through the chapter, you'll see things that catch your interest, and so you'll read a little bit deeper there. Read every major section, the topic of it. If it's got some sidebars, read those. That tells you something important. If it has things in bold, that's something important. But you do not have to read every single word and still tell me, yes, I read it all. I do expect you to look at every bit of it. At the end of each week, you do have a quiz. Also, that quiz is meant to say, these things are important. So if you didn't understand them, you need to look back and make sure that you do understand it. All quizzes, all tests, even the final exam are open book. This textbook is meant to be a research kind of book that you look back and you can find things that you've forgotten. You don't have to memorize all the dates and all the whatever. But it can be a very exciting course. Much of the material you may have already learned, but there will be new things as well. And so I hope that you will look for those new things and the things you already learned. Maybe that can spark something in your mind. Oh, yeah. This is a very basic course about how we develop from the time that we are conceived, that whole development clear through death. And it means so much as a counselor. You've got to have these things in your mind when you're sitting in front of a counselee and have in your mind, I wonder now, okay, where did this come from? And your mind is telling you there's some developmental issues here. Maybe they were when the client was 30, but it's still developmental. So it can be very fun. So I hope that you do have a good time at it. I hope this hasn't been too much to throw at you in this first video, but I want to do this every week if we can. And if there are glitches, especially with the idea that we have the COVID to work with, again, I don't think it should be much of a problem. I will go through every week and make sure that anything that is online is actually there, because those things can change basically from day to day. So I do try to keep up on that. But once in a while, there might be something that we've got to come in and say, hey, this has changed. So just make sure you're reading every single post all the time. Just go down through it. Make sure if I've given you some feedback, I expect that to be read and the problem taken care of. So just make sure you do that. Please give me a call. You've got my phone number. Give me a call if you have questions and let's work things out. And happy learning. Bye. Can't find where to turn it off. There it is. Bye.